Hello, my name is Nan. In this presentation today, I would like to talk about the conflict, the chromatic conflict in the film that we have watched in class, The Streetcar Named Desire. This conflict was so between the Blanche and Stanley, the two characters of the film. This film was made by a book with the same name, which was wrote by Tennessee Williams. Tennessee Williams was born on March 26, 1911, and he died at February 24, 1983. He wrote this novel, then the film, to show the conflict of the society at the South right at the time of the Civil War happened. The conflict of the film is around the conflict between man and woman, the conflict between race, and the conflict between the class and the attitude of life. Let's talk about two characters of hers. Blanche, she was in upper class. She was a white woman, belonged to the old American at the South. She was well educated, used to be a teacher, but she lost her job because of her relationship with her own student, which was just a teenager boy, 17 years old. Oh well. It's happened because of Blanche lost her husband, her young husband, and when she looked at the young teenager boy, she fell in love with them, and she remembered her own husband. That's it. And Blanche, she always wearing white to show that she purifies. The way that Blanche talking, she always used the standard English and with the literary wealth families to show that she is well educated. And Blanche always acting like she in upper classes when compared with Blanche and the other guys, friend of Stanley. And she also hates the lights. Blanche was scared of the lights. She don't want to show her own under the lights. She always try to hide in herself because she know that she old and she don't want to show the people that she's not really like her used to be. On the other hand, Stanley, she was this person like a wise, strong man. She working up the company at New Orleans. Some discussing about Stanley. He acts like an animal. They say an animal habits. It's like one, move like one, and talk like one. Blanche tell her sisters tell her that Stanley is belong to another species. It's not the same like her, Stella. But Blanche was wrong. Stanley was proud about himself, even if he's not a real American. He's an immigrant. His parents is immigrant. But like Stanley say, what I am is 100% of American, born and raised in the great country on earth, and proud as hell of it. So don't even call me a Pollock. Pollock is what Blanche calls Stanley. Of course, it's not a well meaning. But this make the conflict between Blanche and Stanley was stronger. Blanche feel that her in upper class, and Stanley were in the lower class. Blanche feel that she is here, and Stanley is here. So she trying to play with Stanley. She trying to talk with Stanley with a lot of meanings, but Stanley can't understand it because he lacks a vocabulary of English. Stanley would never be a very good English student. That's what it's so. Another conflict between Stanley and Blanche is about the role at the house. Stanley always feels that he is the king. He has it strong, and he feels that the woman at the house, Miss Stella, just needs to stay at home and cooking and waiting for him. But Blanche does not agree with that. She do everything she can to take Stella out, take Stella from him, and she trying to control Stanley and Stella's life, and Stanley does not like it. He's the controller. He don't want anybody touch to his soul. That's what I can say. So, out of the conflict of the role in the family and the classes, there's a conflict about sex. Because of Blanche's background, she will fall in incest with a lot of men. So when Stanley realized that, at the end of the film, when Stanley come back from the hospital, he raped her. And definitely, Stanley is not Blanche type. In normal, Blanche may have sex with men to feel safe, to feel like she fighting a harbor to live. But with Stanley, it's not her own idea to have sex with him. She will rape it. This action of Stanley broke Blanche's mind. He broke her. But with Stanley's mind, when Stanley raped Blanche, he assumed that she had slept with so many men in the past. One more would not matter. Stanley forced brutality, which caused Blanche to crack up. The raps is Blanche's destruction as an individual. In all previous sexual encounter, Blanche has freely given up herself, but to take in so cruelly and brutally with a man who represents its own quality which Blanche found obnoxious caused her entire world to collapse. At the end of the film, when Blanche goes with the doctor because he seemed to be a gentleman and because he is a stranger, she said, "I have already depended on the kindness of strangers." Thus, Blanche's life ends in the hand of a stranger doctor. The way of this ending will show that the fight between the old American of the South and the new American of the South. It's so the way that is so how this fight between the new and the old American ended at the Civil War. The old American were defeated by the new American. At that time. And the way that Blanche get out and go away, it showed that how the old American ended themselves after the Civil War, which is Tennessee Williams wanted his audience to see. Thank you for listening.